to our town. Dorothy Thompson speaking to you today from in front of Pratt Memorial Chapel. And we have a ceremony to share with you, actually 2 ceremonies. We're going to take a look at 2 Veterans Wreath Program ceremonies, one from 2020, which was virtual, and one from very recently in 2023.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to St. Kilian's in Bear Valley for our ceremony today to honor our veterans. Please join me in a moment of silence to remember the fallen, the prisoners of war, the missing in action, and honor those who have served and are currently serving in this great nation's armed services. At this time, the Lone Rock American Legion, Post 383, will present the colors. You swing clear to the other side.
Detail, hold! Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
At this time, feel free to join me from where you are right now in reciting our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for listening today. At cemeteries in the United States and abroad, where U.S. soldiers are laid to rest, we remember, we honor, and we teach. We are all proud to be Americans that live in a free society made of many people from all walks of life. The freedoms that we enjoy today have not come without a price. Lying before us and in cemeteries throughout this nation are men and women who gave their lives so that we can live in freedom and without fear. We can worship as we see fit. We can raise our children to believe as we do or as they wish to believe. We can travel from one end of this great nation to the other and not have to ask permission to go. We are free to vote for whomever we feel we should be in government office with no explanation needed. We are free to succeed. We have the right to fail at whatever endeavors we wish to pursue. The United States of America was founded on the ideals of freedom, justice, and equality. Our nation stands as a shining beacon of liberty and freedom to the world. We thank those who gave their lives to keep us free. We shall not forget you. We shall remember. Today, many of you listening in are veterans of wars and conflicts that America has had to fight to protect the innocent and the oppressed. This nation has always been the first to stand up for the freedom of people from around the world. Some of you have answered that call and have served your country well. Today we say thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you. There are many men and women serving today in all branches of the military, here at home and in places far away that most of us have never heard of. These men and women are part of the best trained and best equipped forces in the world. We honor them and their families for the sacrifices they make each day to keep our country safe from terrorism, hatred, and injustice. Quoting our 40th President, United States President Ronald Reagan, "Freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day we will stand with our sunset years telling our children and our children's children that what was once like the United States, where men were free." Today we show a united front of gratitude and respect across the United States of America as we remember the fallen, honor those who have served, and teach our children the value of freedom. We will now honor each branch of the service with a wreath at the memorial. A wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Army. A wreath in remembrance of those who served and are serving in the United States Marine Corps. A wreath in remembrance of those who served and are serving in the United States Navy. A wreath in remembrance of those who served and are serving the United States Air Force. A wreath in remembrance of those who served and are serving in the United States Coast Guard. A wreath in remembrance of those who served and are serving in the United States Merchant Marines. A remembrance wreath in memory of the 93,129 United States service persons from all branches of the services whose last known status was either prisoner of war or missing in action. These individuals never returned to their families or their homes. We shall not forget you. Now we will read aloud the name of each veteran interned here at St.Kilian Cemetery in Bear Valley to honor each of them individually. As each veteran's name is called, we would like to ask that each of you listening today would take a moment to thank them for their service to our country as a means of keeping the memory of our veterans alive.
Daniel Schmitz. Jerome Greenheck. Robert Greenheck. Anthony Schwartz. Mary Schwartz. Frank Samborski. Leo Schwartz. George Klein. Joseph Greenheck. Angus Shaw. Harold Regals. Avis Regals. Albert Schmitz. Gilbert Olson. Edward Ward. Theron Freeze. Edward Prawl. Vincent Frawley. William Prawl. Joseph Slaney. Francis Bry. Janet Bry. Louis Lingard. Cornelius Richards. Gerald Faber. James Faber. Edward Schmitz. John Reiter. Robert Berry. Frank Aspel. Henry Wiedenfeld. Frederick Munz. Richard Munz. John Dolecki. Dean Munz. Frank Mullen. Francis Mullen. Francis Dorgan. Francis Wolf. Francis Caney.
Remember, these wreaths are not meant to decorate graves. They are here to remember not their deaths, but their lives. Each wreath is a gift of appreciation from a grateful America. In closing, we remind everyone that these live wreaths symbolize our honor to those who have served and those that are currently serving in the armed forces of our great nation, as well as their families who have endured sacrifices every day on our behalf. To our children, we want you to understand the freedoms that you enjoy today have come with a cost that someday you may have to pay yourself. As a nation standing together, we can defeat terrorism, hatred, and injustice. Thanks to our veterans, we have the freedom to do just that. Lone Rock American Legion Post 383 will conclude the ceremony with the presentation of arms, the playing of taps, and the retiring of the colors. Once the colors are retired, the ceremony will come to a close. Thank you for taking the time today to listen in and for honoring our veterans at St.Kilian Cemetery.
Detail in hut, port horn, unlock, red, fire, 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 present, home, port horn. Lock your weapons. Order home. detail. Hands hut. Retrieve the colors. Mark.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today at St.Kilian's in Bear Valley, as others unite at cemeteries and memorial sites across America, to remember that we are one nation with one flag. We are all proud to be Americans that live in a free society made up of many people, many races, from many walks of life. The freedoms we enjoy today have not come without a price. Today we honor 43 veterans laid to rest at St.Kilian's, and in cemeteries throughout this nation are men and women who gave their lives so that we can live in freedom and without fear. We can worship as we see fit. We can raise our children as we choose. We can freely travel from one end of the United States to the other. We are free to vote and participate in our government. The United States of America was founded on the ideals of freedom, justice, and equality. Our nation stands as a shining beacon of liberty and freedom to the world. We thank the soldiers who put on that uniform and served our country. They all sacrificed. Some paid the ultimate sacrifice and died in action. Others, 50 plus years later, are still fighting the demons of war. We shall always remember. Many of you in attendance today are veterans of wars and conflicts that America has had to fight to protect the innocent and oppressed. America has always been the first nation to stand up for freedom of people from around the world. Many of you here today have answered that call and served your country well. Thousands of men and women are serving today in all branches of the military, both here at home and in places far away that most of us have never heard of. We honor them and their families for the sacrifices they make each day to keep our country safe from terrorism, hatred, and injustice that plague the world. To each veteran, retired or active duty member of the armed services, we take this moment to say thank you for safeguarding our freedoms. Today we show a unified front across the United States of America as we remember the fallen, honor those who served, those currently serving, and to teach our children the value of freedom. At this time, I direct your attention to the American Legion Post 383 as they begin our ceremony with the posting of the colors.
Squad, halt. Left, face. Present or place colors.
Please join in the singing of the national anthem.
Veterans, present arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly hailed at the twilight's last gleam, his broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night. Oh, the red was English were so gallantly streaming, and like its everywhere, love was bursting in air, came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Order, arms. Right shoulder, arms. Left, face. Forward, march.
We now invite any veteran who wishes to participate and the presentation of the wreaths of our military branches. Please come forward to where the wreaths are lined up and proceed with the wreath bearer as each individual wreath is presented. A remembrance wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Army. A remembrance wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Marine Corps. A remembrance wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Navy. A remembrance wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Air Force. A remembrance wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Coast Guard. A remembrance wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Merchant Marines and other branches of the military. A remembrance wreath in memory of the 93,129 United States service persons from all branches of the service whose last known status was either a prisoner of war or missing in action. These individuals never returned to their families and homes. We shall not forget you. The wreaths before us and near the headstone of each veteran represents our commitment as a united America to remember the fallen. We also want these remembrance wreaths to symbolize our honor to those who have served and are serving in the armed forces of the United States and to their families who endure sacrifices every day on our behalf. We remember those teenagers and young people drafted, torn from their families. We remember the young men and women who joined to help protect families they did not even know. And we remember those who cared for the wounded, piecing them back together as best they could. Those soldiers, whether teenagers or seasoned military personnel, they put on their uniform and they served their country. They did not write their orders. They went where they were assigned. Some carried great mental, physical, and emotional wounds of the front lines of war. Others carried guilt as their orders did not take them to the front lines to fight alongside their brothers. Many still feel they don't deserve recognition. However, they served our country, something only a small fraction of Americans have done. They put on the they put on the uniform and followed the orders they were given. They were ready to be called to the front lines if that order were given. Some died in action, while others physically came home to their families, but mentally and emotionally have never been the same. Civil War, World War I, World War II, Korea, Cold War veterans came home and returned to work. Gulf War veterans returned with a hero's welcome. Vietnam-era veterans, whether they were frontline combat fighters, served in another country, or served stateside, returned to their hometowns to protest, riot, ridicule, spat on, harassed, had things thrown at them, and called names. Many have carried deep wounds most of us will never know, let alone begin to understand. We honor them. We honor all of them today. We thank them for their sacrifices as they lay to rest free from pain known to them alone. To our children, we want you to understand the freedoms you enjoy today have not been free, but have come with a cost that someday you may have to pay yourself. As a nation standing together, we can defeat terrorism, hatred, and injustice. Thanks to our veterans, we have the freedom to do just that. Quoting our 40th United States President, Ronald Reagan, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States where men were free." Today, we ask you to take a moment and visit a grave site here at St.Kilian Cemetery. Write down the information on the veteran laid to rest. When you return home, research their name, maybe seek out their family, and find out all you can about this veteran. You will find they are real Americans with families. They are mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles. They are farmers, healthcare workers, accountants, teachers, students, white and blue-collar workers. They were and are so much more than a statistic. They are patriots. As we prepare to make our way to the graves for the placing of the wreaths, we ask that you reflect on what it is that makes you proud to be an American, where at least you know you are free. As you give personal thanks, we will read the names of all our veterans laid to rest here. If any veterans joining us today would like to salute our fallen while names are being read, please join other veterans and stand behind the wall that holds our military wreaths and face the cemetery. After the names have been read, the military will retire the colors. However, we ask that you remain where you are as that takes place. At this time, please proceed to a headstone or visit the headstone of any of our veterans. In a minute, I will read the names of our fallen. When you hear the name of your veteran, take a moment in remembrance. Veterans, again, you are welcome to join other veterans by the military wreaths in saluting our fallen. Henry Wiedenfeld. Edward Ward. Harold Riggles. Angus Shaw. George Klein. Joseph Greeneck. Frank Zamborski. Mary Schwarz, Anthony Schwarz, Leo Schwarz, Robert Greenack, Daniel Schmitz, Jerome Greenheck, Robert Schmitz, Frederick Munns, Richard Munns, John Dolecki, Ronald Dean Boyd Munns, Cyril Munns, Frank Mullen, Francis Mullen, Frank Dorgan, Francis Wolf, Eugene Wanacke, Francis Caney, Frank Aspel, John Reuter, Robert Berry, Edward Schmitz, James Top Faber, Gerald Faber, Cornelius Richards, Janet Bry, Francis Bry, Louis Lingard, Joseph Slaney, Darrell Tennant, William Prawl, Vincent Frawley, Edward Prawl, Theron Fries, Gilbert Olson, Albert Schmitz,
Ready. Aim. Fire. Aim. Fire. Aim. Fire. Present. Arms.
Squad, halt. Left, face. Retrieve the colors. Left, face. Forward, march.
We thank you for joining us today to honor our local veterans. We invite all to proceed out to the church basement for warmth and treats.
Thank you for tuning in. Come back next week and every week when we'll show you something interesting that's going on right here in Richland Center or the area.